Welcome back to Explain the Charts. Today we're taking a look at Microsoft stock, and we're going to cover both the current news and events surrounding this tech giant, as well as analyze the chart data. Let's start with the news. Microsoft announced a $60 billion stock buyback program, a move that signals confidence in their own company. This is the largest buyback authorization in Microsoft's history. The company also announced a 10% increase in its quarterly dividend, demonstrating their commitment to shareholder returns. These announcements have been met with generally positive reactions from analysts and investors. However, it's important to remember that the stock market is volatile, and it's never a good idea to base investment decisions solely on one piece of news. We need to look beyond the headlines and examine the chart data to gain a more comprehensive understanding of MSFT's potential. To do that, let's move to our first scene and take a look at the daily chart. Here on the daily chart, we can see that Microsoft has been in an uptrend over the past few months. The stock price has been steadily rising, and the daily candles are mostly green, indicating strong buying pressure. Looking at the past few weeks of data, we see a pullback from the previous highs, but overall it seems to have formed a rounded bottom in the past month. This suggests that the stock is consolidating before potentially making another run higher, especially with the buyback announcement. It's important to identify key levels of support and resistance on the chart. We can see that the 200-day moving average has been a strong level of support in the past, and the stock has bounced off of it multiple times. This level of support is currently around $380, and we should watch to see if it holds in the coming days and weeks. Above this, we can also see a resistance level at around $425, which corresponds to the recent high. If we see the stock price break through this resistance level, it could be a strong sign that the stock is ready to move higher, and we could see the stock move to the next resistance levels, around $445 and then $465. However, if the stock price breaks below the 200-day moving average, it could signal a change in trend and a possible move lower. Let's switch to the 1-hour chart for a closer look at the recent price action. Here on the 1-hour chart, we see a more detailed picture of the recent price action. Over the last few weeks, we've seen some volatility, with the stock price bouncing up and down between support and resistance levels. However, the recent buyback news has resulted in a strong surge in price, with several consecutive green candles. This suggests that the market is responding positively to the news, and there's strong buying pressure. Looking at the 1-hour time frame, we see a short-term resistance level at around $430. If this resistance level is broken, it could signal another leg higher, and we could see the stock move to the next resistance level, which is at around $440. However, if we see the stock price fail to break through this resistance level and pull back, we might see a move lower. To get a better sense of the current momentum and the potential for short-term reversals, let's switch to the 15-minute chart. Here on the 15-minute chart, we see a more granular view of the recent price action. This allows us to see the volatility and momentum on a much shorter time frame. We can see that the stock price has been in an uptrend over the last few days, with several green candles. However, we also see some short-term fluctuations and a possible sign of a pullback in the last few candles. This suggests that the short-term momentum is slowing down, and there could be a pullback to test the support level around $425. If this support level holds, we could see the stock resume its upward trend. But if we see the stock price break below this support level, it could signal a short-term reversal, and we might see a further drop in the stock price. Now, let's discuss the reasons to be bullish or bearish on Microsoft. The buyback program and dividend hike are definitely positive signs for long-term investors, as it shows confidence from the company's leadership. However, we need to consider the broader market conditions as well. The current economic uncertainty, coupled with the potential for further interest rate hikes, could create headwinds for the stock. While Microsoft's buyback announcement might offset some of these concerns, we need to carefully evaluate how the stock performs in the coming weeks. If we see the stock price continue to move higher and break through resistance levels, it would be a strong signal that the market is bullish on Microsoft despite the broader economic uncertainty. However, if we see the stock price pull back and break below key support levels, it would suggest that the market is not convinced by the buyback program. Looking at other important things to watch for, we need to keep an eye on the Fed's next interest rate decision, as it could have a significant impact on the broader stock market and MSFT's price. We should also monitor Microsoft's earnings reports, as they can provide key insights into the company's performance and future prospects. This can help us determine if the buyback program is enough to drive growth, or if it's just a knee-jerk reaction to market conditions. In summary, Microsoft is in a long-term uptrend, with the stock price steadily rising over the past few months. The recent buyback program and dividend hike are positive signals for long-term investors, but the broader market conditions, such as economic uncertainty and potential interest rate hikes, could present headwinds. The stock has been consolidating in the past month, forming a rounded bottom, but we need to see if it can break through the resistance level at around $425, which would signal a continuation of the uptrend. Key support levels to watch are around $380, the 200-day moving average, and $425, a short-term resistance. Breaking through these levels could indicate a continuation of the uptrend. However, breaking below the 200-day moving average, $380, could signal a change in trend and a possible move lower. We need to pay attention to the Fed's next interest rate decision, Microsoft's earnings reports, and how the stock performs in the coming weeks and months. Ultimately, the success of the buyback program and its impact on MSFT's price will depend on the company's performance, the broader market conditions, and the overall investor sentiment. Thanks for joining us, and remember to stay tuned for more in-depth analysis on Explain the Charts.